Hi, I'm Liz Larson, and welcome back to 50 Little Things You Can Do to Actually Strengthen Your Neurological Bond in All of Your Relationships. As I always say, relationships are really just two nervous systems having a conversation. Those nervous systems can clash or they can blend together beautifully. So, lesson 6 is about a nurturing touch. Did you know that babies who aren't touched or held shortly after birth, that they have less brain function, they can be less intelligent and more neurologically damaged than children who are held and touched? It has everything to do with the way our brain and body work together, this nurturing touch, skin on skin. It's why they recommend that babies are immediately put on a mom's skin, where in the past they would take them off, they would do all kinds of testing and washing. And now in most hospitals, babies are not washed for maybe even 24 hours so that the mom and the dad can bond with them physically. It's really important. And it's one of those things as kids get older that we stop doing. And as relationships mature, we also stop doing it. In a love relationship, in the beginning, people are all over each other. And it really encourages the nervous systems to bond around that touch. We hold hands, we snuggle on the couch, we interact in a way that's quite physical. With our babies, it's the same thing. We snuggle and hug and kiss and run our fingers through their hair. And then as they get older and more surly, we do it less and less. But the body still needs it as much or more than ever. So as relationships mature, we want to make sure that we incorporate a nurturing touch. Now, what kinds of things can we do? Let's talk about love relationships. How long has it been since you touched the hair of your spouse? Do you ever do it? If you're a wife, do you ever run your fingers through your husband's hair? Or as a husband, have you ever touched your wife's hair? This is one of those little intimate things that's not sexual, but intimate, to touch someone's hair. Shockingly, nervous systems respond powerfully to this touch. When my kids were little, I tend to be a hair toucher, and I would sit next to them and unconsciously run my fingers through their hair. And if I wouldn't do it, both of them would say to me, "Mom, pet me, Mom." It's a hilarious story now, and I'm sure it'd be very embarrassing for them to know I tell the story. But they wanted that interaction, that comfort of having their hair touched. Something else you can do with little kids is rub their ear very, very gently. It's very soothing and comforting. It's also one of those things, non-sexual, but it's also intimate to rub someone's ears. For a spouse, you can volunteer to do it. Give them an ear massage. It feels amazing. And actually, it runs energy from the brain to the body and back along the spine. So it's a great thing to do. Another thing to do is just simply put your hand on someone's shoulder or upper mid back. A touch on the low back is lovely and intimate, but also could be sexual in nature. So if you're not trying to do that, don't do that. But if you are, it's a way to interact with your spouse. A low back touch is quite intimate and stimulating. But an upper back or shoulder can be very, very reassuring to a person. When they walk in the door and maybe you haven't been touching them, you can touch their shoulder, give it a little shake. "Hey, I'm so happy to see you." Add it on to the things we've already been talking about. It's another way to make the human in your life feel seen. And for kids, it's the same way too. "Hey, bud, so happy you're home. Glad to see you. How was your day?" Right? Or upper middle back. Another thing is just a light touch on the hand. For spouses, if you just reach over and put one hand on the other, it creates a neurological bond that maybe you've been forgetting to do. If you're new in a relationship, it's one of those things you can do. Just touching the other person's hand on the back, stroking their hand, is a lovely way to say, I'm here with you. For older couples, snuggling on the couch, sit next to each other if you're watching TV or on your phone. It makes all the difference. If you're across the room and two Barca loungers looking at your phone or looking at TV, there's no neurological bond being made. But you can sit right next to each other, shoulder to shoulder. You know, maybe one person sit with their legs across the other and do your phone, do your individual thing while you're still strengthening that bond of touch. It's so important to humans. We need it. We need it for the way our brain functions. It calms our nervous system. It makes us feel safe. And it actually stimulates the part of our neurology that says, this is my human. This person is intimate enough with me that we can touch each other and feel safe. So it's very, very important. So I encourage you to do this. If it's not someone that you're intimately related with in your house, someone in your office, you can shake hands. You can do a side hug if that's appropriate. There are things you can do. You can pat someone's forearm. Hey, I'm so happy to see you. It's lovely to be with you. If you're touching someone in a work relationship, you want to make sure you have permission to do so. Make sure you're close enough to do that. A handshake is usually appropriate. And you can ask someone, hey, is it okay if I give you a side hug? And they're like, hey, sure. Then you know that that is a way to speak to them that works for them. So you want to be careful nowadays. But with your family at home, make sure that you are giving a nurturing touch, making a physical connection that makes you and them feel safe, wanted, and more than anything, seen.